Tonight's show provides me with an opportunity. Opportunity to show you guys what unbiased sounds like. Because, let's be real, this show had a lot of build to mania. Built up a lot of stories. Had an incredible match between Bray Wyatt and Dolph Ziggler. And I will not allow any of that to be tarnished by the fact that, let's be real, the main event was absolute bullshit. Oh yes.
Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Open up your hate and then open the make.
What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check. This is Road Signs. This is Raw because we had a Raw this week. Didn't do a Raw review or a SmackDown review last week. Raw didn't happen, and SmackDown review was taken over by, I believe, my Q&A, which you guys have continued to respond to greatly, which I want to appreciate, and I want to put out there first and foremost and thank all of you guys for that. You guys stick with me. I know my opinions are not always the most popular, but to the loyals of this channel, to the loyals of me for the past 5 years, you know who you are. Thanks for sticking with me. I know I don't always make it an easy ride. And thank you for obviously latching on to my new concept series with the fan interaction, fan answer. I have the next one coming up this Friday, and it's a doozy. I had to do a little bit of research going into this particular one, and I do need to thank Guapo from the Wrestle Recap team there for helping me with some of said research. So Guapo and the whole Wrestle Recap team over on Black Cat Feline, thank you for your continued support of this channel, and Guapo, thanks for your help with a little bit of research and Wikipedia-ing and so on and so on and so forth. You guys are great. So yeah, let's get into Raw, because Raw actually happened this week. The Authority came out. They took a crap on the Super Bowl, which made me laugh. They took a crap at the canceled WWE Network little thing that was happening last week. I've said before, there is a video coming where I'm going to fully take some time and get into all the fallout from the Rumble, because I can't do it as like a little bit of a Raw review. My full thoughts on the fallout from Royal Rumble are going to be a video all on their own. I might get somebody to help me out with that. It'll probably be okay, Fabe. I'm looking at you, buddy. Then they turn their attention to the Royal Rumble controversy, which isn't really a controversy, but they're trying to make something out of nothing like the Daniel Bryan fans did, and make it that Rock's involvement in the Rumble match constituted some sort of cheating or unfair play, because, you know, 101 people don't run in on the Rumble. Anyways, Triple H admits that Show and Kane were wrong. It showed bad sportsmanship for them to get back in the ring and beat down on Roman Reigns after they had been eliminated from the match. And then he turns around and says, well, I kind of support that kind of bad sportsmanship. So Triple H, being a dick, as he is very, very good at doing, along with his wife. But he says the real problem is The Rock. And you actually got Rocky chants tonight. I don't know where they were, I didn't write it down, but they got Rocky chants, and we got Roman Reigns chants later on in the night, so it definitely wasn't Philadelphia, it definitely wasn't, you know, the ECW fans that are, you know, latching on 15 years later, anything like that. But Triple H kind of makes a joke out of it, compares The Rock to Sting, which, again, could lead to my video this coming Friday. And he says, I'm the nice guy. I let too many old guys in here just because they still have a name. He reiterates that he's calling out Sting for Fastlane. And then he says, Roman Reigns' Royal Rumble win. Try saying that 3 times fast. Will always go down in the record books as a win, but I don't know if it necessarily should mean he gets his shot at WrestleMania. So, branching off of last year, we are further deteriorating the value of anything that happens at the Royal Rumble. Oh, yes. Roman Reigns comes out, calls Triple H out on his bullshit, rightfully so. It just... WWE... and what some of the stupid Daniel Bryan fans are making them do is so haphazard and patched together, it's ridiculous. Calls him out on his bullshit. Stephanie gets between the two of them while they're having a big stare down. And you know what? Roman Reigns versus Triple H, even from back in the Shield versus Evolution days, Roman Reigns versus Triple H isn't a match I would mind seeing at all. Go ahead and shoot me. I know that's another unpopular opinion to add to the long list of my unpopular opinions, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. If Roman Reigns doesn't get his title shot at WrestleMania, you know, scrap the Sting thing, have Roman Reigns versus Triple H. I would like that a lot. Steph comes in and she gets in Roman Reigns' face as she steps between Roman and Hunter and says, "Last week we heard all about your family when you were talking to Paul Heyman, and isn't it ironic that it might be your family's fault that you don't go to WrestleMania for the title match?" That gets cut off by, of course, Daniel Bryan. Of course, Super Goat needs to be in the spotlight for what legitimate reason other than a couple people are butthurt. He immediately tries to buddy up with Roman Reigns, which I find funny. "Sorry, these guys are messing with you. I know what it's like. Poor me, poor me, poor me," even though 2 main events at WrestleMania last year. Just saying. "I never got my rematch, so I deserve a shot. So, because you got injured and couldn't defend your title and got it stripped because of that, you deserve to be shoehorned into WrestleMania. Again." Oh, yes. Triple H baffles my mind and says, you lost at the Rumble, why should we give you a shot? But then again, I could see you in that spot. Why? Rollins comes out and laughs at Bryan, rightfully so, saying Brock would eat you alive. It's true, Bryan is smaller than Rollins, and Rollins held his own against Brock. It makes sense. You get hurt. You don't deserve a title match for getting hurt. This is the WWE title picture. Welcome to the deep end. I like that too. Roman wouldn't win if it wasn't for The Rock. I deserve the title shot. I'm the one that broke the champ's ribs. I like that, because I will admit, Roman Reigns doesn't have much of a claim to another title shot either, but I'd rather have him than Daniel. Anyways, Daniel Bryan, who got injured and did nothing for 8 months and came back and has shitty matches where he didn't sell for anybody and lasted 3 minutes in the Rumble, all of that does not add up to another spoon-fed WrestleMania win. I'm just putting that out there. Authority says, we listen to the fans, we've listened to you three. We're going to have Bryan versus Rollins tonight. The winner will face Roman Reigns at Fastlane, and the winner of that gets the shot at WrestleMania. Bryan says to Roman Reigns, "Hey, you and me could rip it up at Fastlane." Rollins says nobody wants to see Bryan versus Reigns, including me. Roman, you would break him in half too. We know it. You're just too scared to face me. Roman says, "Let's do it." Triple H says, "Roman, stay in the ring. You're going to face Big Show now." And I will admit, for the people that are yelling at WWE, Roman Reigns versus the Big Show is getting old. There, I admitted it. I'm not, whatever you want to say about me on Twitter. I know, because I don't mind the fact that Roman Reigns won the Rumble. I'm apparently the biggest, most massive WWE dick sucker ever, even though I'm very critical of the WWE. This match is getting old, but it wasn't that bad. It starts off with a bear hug by the Big Show and throwing Roman Reigns into the guardrail. Roman snaps Show's neck in the ropes and hits him with a combination clothesline shoulder tackle. Then he clotheslines Big Show after about the 3rd or 4th attempt out of the ring. See, Roman Reigns, as much as people say he's like super booked and whatever, like it's not like he plows through the Big Show. No, 3 or 4 clothesline attempts to get him out of the ring. He does the what's now becoming a little bit one of his 5 moves of doom. I will admit that that low the low apron drop kick that he does on the outside, which I still think is pretty damn cool. I lost my place, because that's what happens. He gets distracted by J&J security, and a spear by the Big Show gets a near fall. He spears Noble off the apron into Rollins, who's there watching the match. Superman punch on the Big Show. Rollins hits Roman Reigns in the back, lower back, upper, somewhere in the back region, because there's no headshots, which is enough for Big Show to have Roman Reigns sort of stumble into a chokeslam. Big Show gets the win. Backstage, the Authority admits that they knew if they even gave the slightest opportunity or the slightest hint that Roman Reigns wasn't getting the title shot at WrestleMania, that Daniel Bryan would come out and it would make things very muddy, and that the fans like Daniel Bryan, so that would help them persuade Roman Reigns to put his number 1 contendership at WrestleMania on the line, because they didn't actually have the authority to do so. So they manipulated Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, in that opening segment, was, at the end of the day, doing the bidding of the Authority. How does that make you feel? Daniel Bryan marks like the Lex Man. Moving on. Curtis Axel comes out for probably one of the funnier things I've ever seen him done. "I never lost the Rumble. I want justice, and I want Lesnar at WrestleMania." He gets up on the turnbuckle like he's all deserving and shit, pointing at the WrestleMania sign like all the number 1 contenders do. Ambrose comes out, beats down Axel a little bit, throws him out of the ring. He says, "There, now you've been eliminated." That's fantastic. Now he's turned to something else. He talks about last week when they had the Raw at the WWE headquarters. He talks about walking up and down the hallways, and seeing pictures of all the former champions and whatever. And he says, I take a pretty decent mugshot. I should be a champion. I pinned Barrett a little while ago, and now I'm coming for that Intercontinental Championship. Axel tries to jump him again, fails, hits the Dirty Deeds, and we're out for that segment. Good, to the point. I guess Wade Barrett wasn't there tonight for Ambrose to challenge him directly, but Ambrose on the mic is great. Axel coming out with his delusions of, let's be real, anything is hysterical. Them making fun of him on the way to the ring because he's friggin' delusional. I mean, they mentioned it as he was coming down the ring. He technically wasn't eliminated, whatever. When he started his ramble, I thought he was going to call out Eric Rowan and they were going to have a match or something. Somebody on Twitter said something to the effect of, all the WWE commentators are shit because they're making fun of one of the young guys. Curtis Axel's been around a while. Curtis Axel's been around since, the original game show version of NXT Season 2. He's been in and out, failed. They put him with Heyman, failed. They put him with Ryback, failed. Him and Husky Harris were a tag team, that failed. He's back in NXT now. And he's not one of these new young up-and-comers. That's ridiculous. But the comment on Twitter said something to the effect of, this is why we like the NXT commentators, they don't shit on the young talent. Well, NXT is the development ground for the young talent. If they shit on the young talent, it would be an hour of shitting. And I don't think even Prince Albert has taken that much laxative. Moving on. Not a knock on NXT. I love NXT. You guys know that. Ascension versus Golden Stardust was kind of fun. Victor squares off with Stardust to start. Victor hits a great-looking running STO at one point. Goldust drags Stardust's already fallen body over to the corner. He gets the tag. 2 clotheslines and an uppercut, but then Connor comes in and beats Goldust down pretty damn badly. Chop block and the Fall of Man and the Ascension get the win. The brothers argue awkwardly because it's like they're trying to have a legitimate heated difference of opinion, heated falling out conversation, but while keeping up their crazy intergalactic, wacky out there antics going on as well. And they come back from break and they're still arguing, and Goldust is trying to calm Stardust down. He says, Stardust, Cody! And he says, don't you ever call me Cody. I like that. I like that a lot. That's Stardust has been Stardust for a while, and we can tell that Cody Rhodes is enjoying it, but there's some conviction behind that character now. He's holding on to it tightly. I don't know how else to explain it, but I like it a lot. And when they do fight, if they do fight, that's a nice, neat little touch that they do. Why is my computer doing things? There we go. Cena comes out, and as he's coming out to the ring, they show the graphic for Cena versus Rusev at WrestleMania, at Fastlane, and it says WWE United States Championship. So somewhere along the way, this became for the U.S. title. Now, this means one of two things is going to happen. Either Rusev is going to beat Cena, or Cena's going to be the United States champion. I don't know where this is going to go, but I'll quote my buddy OK Fabe on Twitter when he said, I don't care what anybody says, but from this point on, I'm a lot more interested in this match. He comes out, he talks about how Triple H says he's somebody from the past, immediately gets a big John Cena sucks chant. He says an interesting comment. He talks about Triple H and how Triple H has handpicked Seth Rollins. But then he says that the reason Triple H rebranded NXT was to have an entire faction of people that he wanted. And basically he was saying that Triple H created NXT to churn out somebody to oust John Cena. That's really egotistical, even for John Cena. As an NXT fan, I don't particularly like that, because that's basically shitting on the whole, that's taking guys like Adrian Neville and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and the Lucha Dragons and Enzo and Cass. That's saying all those guys and all the great things they do and saying that the only reason that they're there is John Cena. I'm not even the biggest NXT mark out there, but that's fucking no. Just no. I'd love to be more eloquent about that, but just no. He wants me gone, but he's too scared to fire me. And then he goes off on the other side of the coin. He says he doesn't care about the fans. If he fires me, he has to explain it to his shareholders and his advertisers and blah, blah, blah. Goes on this corporate kick for a second. That, again, for a face is just really, really weird, because it's like, look at how much money I'm worth. And And then he goes on into the more generic John Cena, I never give up, and makes me want to puke. Brings out Rowan, Ryback, and Ziggler. They all come out, and you figure if they're all going to come out together, they're going to come out to Ziggler's music, because Ziggler is the star. But no, all three of them come out to Ryback's music, which makes me nervous as to which one of those three guys is getting the push. He says, we are all here, we're all standing proof that the authority can be beat, and so can Rusev. Then they're eliminated. They're not eliminated, but they are interrupted by Stephanie McMahon on the Tron, who basically says that, Ziggler, Rowan, and Ryback she's specifically talking to Ziggler, but she's talking to all three of them in general, saying that they haven't really won anything. Sting and John Cena have been fighting all their battles for them, and we're going to put a stop to that tonight. We're going to get Ziggler versus Wyatt. Sorry guys, my chair's doing a thing. You know this. You know how it goes. You guys that have been watching, the loyals, know that my chair is fucked. My sinuses are fucked most of the time. I usually lose my voice. I do these videos at ridiculous o'clock in the morning, and I can speak, I swear. That's about it. Make the t-shirts and all that sort of thing. We're going to get Ziggler versus Wyatt, Rowan versus Rusev, and Ryback versus Luke Harper. Ryback versus Luke Harper happens right then and there. Harper hits a vertical suplex on Ryback. Ryback, not to be outdone, hits a very, very long, stalling vertical suplex that I would have bet money was going to turn into a jackhammer. It would have made me smile. Ryback gets him with a splash. Ryback gets him with a corner clothesline. Harper gets a nice, especially for a guy his size, mid-ring dropkick. The one thing I don't like, and okay, I know WWE renames everybody, but the guy that must have been near the camera, or must have been near the hard camera anyway, they kept on saying, hey Brody, hey, you're Brody, hey Brody. It's like, fuck off. It's like the Husky Harris chants when Bray Wyatt came in. It's not necessary. But Harper boots Ryback off the apron. Harper hits a rolling... Harper boots Ryback off the apron, throws him back in the ring. There we go. I missed a line, again, because my writing sucks. You guys, I promise you guys come try to read my writing. It's fucking ridiculous. But when he comes back inside, he hits the rolling senton over the rope onto Ryback, and even JBL has to make the reference. He says, that's what Eddie Guerrero would have looked like if Eddie Guerrero was a zombie. Now, a lot of people are going to take that as disrespectful, but if you know how close JBL and Eddie Guerrero were, that's a rib, that's all in good fun, and plus it's, the zombie reference to Luke Harper because he's all out there and shit. Harper hits a big boot and rides a headlock for a long, long time. Ryback hits a front suplex on Harper. Ryback hits the Fez press and a splash and gets a near fall. Harper hits a black hole slam, and I don't care if it's Abyss or not. I don't even care if it's Wade Barrett. I'm not calling it the Winds of Change. It's the fucking black hole slam. Get over it. He gets a near fall. Ryback hits a spine buster. Harper gets a super kick, which gets a near fall. Ryback recovers. Meat hook, shell shock. Ryback gets the win. I don't care, guys. I know we're supposed to hate Ryback because he was kind of, John Cena, Sheamus, Daniel Bryan into the main event and stuff like that. But I like Ryback. Ryback's fun. As long as Ryback's not going for the world title, nothing against him. And I just mumbled a lot there. I said I have nothing against him being on my screen, because he's fun. Cesaro versus Jimmy Uso, which is, I hope, leading into Cesaro and Kid getting the titles, but we're going to get there when we get there. They trade headlocks for a while. Arm lock by Jimmy. Chops in the corner by Cesaro. Chops back from Jimmy. Jimmy works over Cesaro's arm for a while, which is good, except, the Usos don't have any finishing moves that work on the arm, so it's neither here nor there. Jimmy hits a spin kick. He hits the flying Uso, because that's what JBL calls it, so I gotta go with it, on Cesaro on the outside. Double axe handle by Cesaro once they get back in the ring. Cesaro rides another headlock for a long time. Uppercut by Jimmy, which I think is kind of supposed to be... They never really mention it, but I think it's supposed to be insulting because uppercuts are kind of Cesaro's thing. Cesaro spin only gets 4 rotations before he turns it into a single leg crab. The announcers at this point out that the single leg crab is a devastating maneuver, and even more so by Cesaro because he's pound for pound the strongest guy in the WWE. Commentators on point there. I like that. Cesaro then hits sort of a... He has Jimmy Uso down, and he sort of hits him with kind of a messy looking barrage of elbows to the head and neck of Jimmy, which is nice. Then he gets up and meets him with 2 boots to the chest, which is also good. Jimmy misses... Jimmy does not miss the Cesaro. Jimmy misses the super kick. Cesaro tosses him out of the ring. Jimmy eats commentator desk. Jimmy hits a super kick, and the whole... I'm not going to call it the stink face, because it's not, because he's not wearing a thong like his dad did, but he does hit him with the running ass to the face, whatever that's called. He tries for the Samoan splash, but it is caught in an uppercut by Cesaro, and Cesaro gets the win. This was a pretty damn good match. Minimal interference. They talk some Total Divas bullshit on commentary, which is a thing, because Cameron's there and Natalia's there and whatever. While Jay goes in to check on Jimmy after the match, Tyson quickly runs by, hits him with a kick in the head. Hits him with sort of a drive-by kick to the head, and then the heels leave. It's fine. It's setting up for a match, I'm sure, where it's either going to be a intergender with the ladies involved, or it's going to be for the titles. Neither one would really hurt my feelings. I know I've been on here a lot recently saying that I'm not really a fan of Naomi, but in this scenario, if they wanted to do a 3-on-3 intergender match, her and Natalya, I'm sure Natalya could help carry her through the female portion of the match, and it would be alright. In the back, Miz and Mizdow are talking about the Miz's energy drink, whatever's going to go into it, like the fruits and cherries and berries and all that kind of shit. And there's a fan that comes up, says he wants an autograph. Miz turns him away, and he says, well, actually, I was talking about Mizdow. Mizdow, who's like totally face for a split second there, signs the autograph. Hey, man, have a good day. Here you go. Da-da-da. Miz tears it up and fires him as the stunt double. And because he's a philanthropist and philanthropy is his hobby, hires him back as an assistant, tells him to get back to his energy drink, which is great. Ziggler versus Wyatt in, I have to say, one of the best matches of the year so far. Both men start throwing punches for a high-flying sort of showmanship type match that you would expect from Dolph Ziggler. Not the way that I would have expected it to start, but whatever. Wyatt pounds on Ziggler in the corners. Stepping on, once he's got Ziggler down, he starts stepping on his hands, which is painful, you know. Ziggler hits dropkicks and mauls Wyatt in the ropes. Wyatt turns it around, sort of counters, so that he is now choking Ziggler on the ropes. Ziggler with a dropkick, because Ziggler does awesome dropkicks. Wyatt bails out. Wyatt with a slap and some headbutts and a splash for a near fall. Wyatt does the nerve hold thing on the shoulder. Does that actually, like, I'm going to ask legitimately, because I really don't know. This thing where he grabs the shoulder neck bit there and just kind of squeezes, and whoever's selling it acts kind of like they're in a headlock. Does it actually hurt? Does it actually do damage? Does it actually make your arm go numb? I'm not going to do it to myself. I don't have the angle as you see me right now, even as I'm talking, kind of probably looking like a retard. I can't do it to myself from the angle that somebody else would be doing it to me, so I really don't know if that does anything or not, but whatever. Ziggler sells it, because that's what he does. Ziggler hits a running elbow and a drop kick, and Wyatt bails again. I can't really explain this next very, and I made a point of circling this in my notes. Wyatt's on the outside. Ziggler sort of sticks his head between the second and the third rope to try and grab at Wyatt. Wyatt takes his head while he's sort of balancing, sort of teeter-tottering on that second rope, hits his head off the hard part of the apron, so Ziggler goes kind of limp, and from that position kind of pulls him out and suplexes him out to the floor, similar to how Randy Orton does the draping not draping RKO. He does the draping DDT in the ring. Wyatt sort of pulled him out from the same position and suplexed him, landing on the floor. And I mean, anytime that Ziggler's taking a suplex, especially when it's out on the floor, he's going to splat like it's grim death. And that's why we love Ziggler. Wyatt hits flying crossbody that he does once they're both in the ring. Wyatt rides another sleeper for a long time. Ziggler counters with a jawjacker, and Wyatt eats post shoulder first. Ziggler off the top rope, but Wyatt hits him with a shot to the neck collar area that he's been selling for a while. Running clothesline splash and a neck breaker all by Ziggler. Elbow to the chest, gets a near fall. Wyatt comes back and basically rises up from the dead on the ground with a disgusting clothesline. It's, especially when you got somebody like Ziggler selling it, this was really a decapitator. This, you know, if you're going to borrow a phrase from JBL, this was a clothesline from hell. Ziggler misses a splash and eats turnbuckle. He gets splashed in the same corner by Wyatt. And we have another spot here where they're doing sort of the crisscross, you know, where they're running the ropes more or less, and it stops when Ziggler hits what I can only call a running sweet chin music to the gut, because there's no other way I can explain it. Both men trade punches while they're on their knees. Ziggler manages to pull off a famous but Wyatt no-sells it, which is a little bit... He comes back up with his sister Abigail. Wyatt gets the win, 1, 2, 3. No interference, no authority crap. There's no more Wyatt family to interfere on Wyatt's part. This was a fantastic match. This, although, yes, it's another loss for Ziggler, this was the type of match that Wyatt needed if he's going where we think he's going. Paige and Alicia Fox with Bellas on commentary made me sad, and you're going to realize why it made me sad very quickly. They start off with, for the Divas, I'm saying, for the Divas, a pretty stiff and intense looking collar and elbow tie-up. Fox tries a roll-up for the quick win. They spill out to the outside. Paige screams at the Bellas who are on commentary. Fox hits a headlock. Fox hits a beautiful, and it has to be said, Fox hits a Northern Light suplex with a bridge for a near fall, and then my cable cuts out. Yeah. We come back, and Paige is in the ring with what looks like a gigantic bruise on her stomach. Somebody on Twitter told me that they spray painted her stomach because she needs some color. Yeah, that's a thing. Miz versus Sin Cara with Mizdow, the new personal assistant of the Miz, still at ringside. Miz has instructed him to stop doing all the copying, all the gesturing, all the mirroring that he used to do, but he's still doing it because it's habit now, and he has to stop him. Miz rides a long headlock on Sin Cara to start the match. Sin Cara in highlighter yellow tights is hard to look at. I've got an HD TV over there. I'm watching the HD stream of Sportsnet 360, which used to be The Score, which is the channel that wrestling comes on for us here in Canada, for those of you that don't know. When somebody comes out in highlighter yellow on an HD TV, it's distracting. And the other thing I will say is Sin Cara sort of straddles the line between WWE and NXT. I wish he would wear his NXT tag... Or actually, no, I shouldn't say that. He's not the tag team champion anymore. But when he was the NXT tag team champion, I wish he would have worn the belt on Raw and on SmackDown. It would have been the easiest way in the world for NXT to get a bit of visibility. But eventually, when Sin Cara gets out of the long headlock by The Miz, springboard headbutt by Sin Cara misses a senton bomb, which he sells for a little bit. Miz goes to the top rope. Mizdow copies him. He stops to, get him down and give him a bit of a tongue lashing or whatever. Miz hangs Sin Cara up on the ropes. Boot to Sin Cara twice, and then another headlock. Clothesline by the Miz. Miz hits that cool two-part back and neck breaker that he does. Mizdow poses on the apron. Sin Cara takes that distraction for the roll-up for the win. Not even including the distractions by Mizdow, and you guys know that I'm a huge fan of the Miz. This match was slow and awkward to watch. It was like these guys have never fought before. But if you remember back a couple years ago, one of my favorite matches was, I'm gonna say SummerSlam, but somebody's gonna correct me if I'm wrong, the Fatal 4-Way with Miz, Cody, Rey Mysterio, and Sin Cara. They had great chemistry back then. I don't know what's happened to this. I don't know if this was an off night. This was a bad match. It was awkward, and it was slow, and it was like watching two guys that have never worked together before, and I don't really get it. Other than, if they did it on purpose, because the focus is supposed to be on Mizdow, but I don't think people suck on purpose except for John Cena, but that's another story for another time. The highlight of this segment is after, though, because forget about what's going on in the ring. We hear the jump scare, we hear Bray Wyatt's voice, and I've written down as much of this speech as I could. He comes out, he says, I've had many names over the years, seducer, accuser, destroyer, but you can call me Bray. I've been watching you for a long time. They used to fear you. You let that fear, the fear they had for you, turn into a love for you. Now I am the new face of fear. I am the dragon. The devil is real, and he can't wait to see you. I know you're listening. Come find me. Fucking yes. All I'm gonna say. Rusev versus Rowan doesn't really happen because Rowan comes down to the ring. Rusev attacks him before the match can start. Rowan eats post on the outside along with several knees to the head, a front slam, and Rusev stepping on his face, because that's super awesome. With Rowan lying on not on the apron, but sort of under the ropes so that his head is on the apron. Rusev goes to the outside and hits a sort of a 1-2 step into a front kick to his head on the apron and drags him into the center of the ring for the accolade to sort of send a message to John Cena, because Rowan is one of Cena's new buddies. This match never happened. This was a 1 minute mauling, and afterwards they show what Lana says is going to be the movie of John Cena versus Rusev, but really it's just a highlight video package. I would almost call it a propaganda package, but somebody might yell at me for using that word, about all the destruction that Rusev has left on the WWE since he's come in, and yeah, we're going to do this to John Cena. Okay, let me just say, I'm not going to say very much about the main event because I don't want the main event to ruin my night. Roman Reigns handed Daniel Bryan a victory on a silver platter, which means that Daniel Bryan's going to face Roman Reigns at Fastlane, which means that Daniel Bryan and his fans are going to suck a lot of dick, and Roman Reigns is probably going to get fucked at Fastlane. It is what it is. But this match was great. Other than how he's booked, you guys know I love Daniel Bryan in the ring, and Seth Rollins is fucking fantastic. This match had to be good. This match had to be good. The best, I think, was Daniel Bryan after, doing the Daniel Bryan silly kicks that, I love so much, when he went to do the running knee and Rollins just sort of caught him like, fuck you, and did the pillar-to-post turnbuckle powerbomb, which should kill somebody with a bad neck, right? I'm not belaboring this point, and I'm not, trying to flog a dead horse, but I mean, J&J Security interfered, and Big Show interfered, and everything was focused on the neck, and I wish so badly that Rollins had won, and that Rollins had won with the Phoenix Splash, just because it would have been like a big fuck you. But the match was fantastic. The match was won because Roman Reigns came down, speared Big Show for the distraction, to distract Roman Reigns, and then hit him with the friggin' the Superman punch, and basically laid him out at Daniel Bryan's feet, on a silver platter, which is bullshit, because Daniel Bryan's supposed to be the the little underdog that scraps and whatever. Yeah, what can I say? He gets his head and neck attacked all the time. The only thing he didn't do in this match was the headbutt, which is the usual Daniel Bryan fuck you to me. I've had my head and neck worked on the whole match. I supposedly have a bad head and neck in real life, so I'm going to use offense that utilizes my head, because if you're paying attention to the psychology of this match, fuck you. Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan at Fastlane. Roman's going to get fucked. Roman's going to get fucked because a guy that cries and lasts 2 minutes in the Rumble match deserves the title shot more than the guy that won the Rumble match with no interference, even if you want to make it up. I understand Seth Rollins getting involved in the title picture. The showing that he had against Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble was impressive. He went up against the most powerful entity in the title picture, and he ended up against the Golden Boy in John Cena, and looked fantastic and didn't look out of place. Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins said it best, both when he was talking about Brock Lesnar and when he was talking about Roman Reigns. They'll break you in half, and they should break him in half. Half Brock Lesnar's size, with a bad fucking neck. Give him the 16 power bombs at WrestleMania. But no, because then everybody will decide that WrestleMania sucked, just like they decided obligatorily that the Royal Rumble sucked, which is not the case. But yeah, as I say, this last match was absolute bullshit. Other than this, fantastic show. The big guys, brain fart, Luke Harper and Ryback had a great match. Cesaro and Jimmy Uso had a good match. Bray Wyatt and Ziggler had a contender for match of the year so far. I mean, I know we're only in the first couple of days of February, but you gotta start lining up those contenders. A lot of stuff. You got the dissension between Goldust and Stardust, caused by the Ascension, ironically enough. You got the dissension between Miz and Mizdow. My only problem with that is I don't need 2 tag team breakup stories on one WrestleMania card, because then you get repetitive. I'm not saying either match will be bad. I'm just saying to have 2 almost identical stories going into WrestleMania would be a bit, unless they're going to do like Goldust and Mizdow versus Stardust and The Miz, which would just be horrible. Let's be real. I don't know. There's a lot of seeds being planted. The one major one being with Wyatt and potentially the Undertaker. Questions are still swirling about where Randy Orton is. That could always be a thing. I'm thinking that's going to go the Rollins direction. We do have the developing story between Triple H and Sting, which, again, I will get into a lot greater detail about with my next fan interaction video that will hopefully be going up this Friday. That's it. Good show. Shitty ending. All things being equal, I should be back here Wednesday for a Wednesday night SmackDown review. That's it. You want to add questions for the next pay-per-view, put them in the box below with the hashtag SPOK. If you have questions, more generically speaking, for my next Ask the Phoenix, go back to January's Ask the Phoenix, put your questions down there. Fan interaction is coming this Friday, SmackDown this Wednesday. And that's about it. You guys are all fantastic as usual. If you don't like what I've had to say, well, I really don't know what to tell you. I can tell you that this is my channel and I'm Spaz and you're not. I'm Spaz Phoenix, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, I promise. But for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.
You're a freak like me.